Aloha, everyone, and welcome back to another Guardian Training Workshop. I am feeling all kinds of feelings today because I'm sensing a shift, I would say, for not only just the whole planet, of course, but for me creatively. So I'm very excited and honored again to present you with the third Sexual Energies workshop that we've hosted here on the Ascension Diaries, and for my Patreon community that has been so supportive over the last 7 years. And that community may be evolving. I'm hinting towards that. And we will see what gets signed in and what shifts in the next few days as well. So it's all going to be creatively inspiring for me. My creativity is like getting the hint, like you're about to be able to break through and make a new layer of what you experiment with the Ascension Diaries, which is my creative fun zone. So I'm honored to welcome you into my creative fun zone. We're going to discuss all of our mutual creative fun zones in this workshop. So I hope you have a pen and paper. We like to do pen and paper here so you can have some evidence of your hard work, and you can flip back to it on any other meditation days and know that you've put in the good work for your sexual energies at least once and taken this information and perhaps built on it to make better content. Hi, everyone who's here. It's nice to see you. My friends have shown up. I'm dressed for the occasion of the thumbnail I'm in front of. I'm excited for, I would say, the life that is returning to the cheeks and the beaches of the world in the next few months here. I think we're going to be having a very interesting transition, and all those supremely optimistic beings who will be sunbathing in any place at any time, no matter what drama's going on, you're going to be fine. And we're going to be installing that level of confidence in this workshop today. So you can basically glide right through the next year with the most confidence you're able to muster. That's our goal today. And um, I've just done 2 quite long live streams for January. So if you want to continue listening and get more codes out of me from this month, those videos have already done. There is a lot of creative energy available during Capricorn season every year. And it's a bit of a bittersweet moment because a lot of people are quite tired from the solstice holidays during December, late December, and the new year, or at least the new fiscal new year. And there's a lot of recovery in a way happening in a period of time that also is just bursting with, I would say, life force, which is, I would say, Capricorn season. And I've seen that. I've seen that struggle every single year. And I created this workshop in order to help, again, realign that creative power and give us a direction to, I would say, improve our earth and improve our timeline with that energy. Welcome in. So on your journey here with me and over the last few Guardian trainings, we've been talking about the 7 virtues. And we're going to be bringing that in today. So if you have not memorized what the 7 virtues are, that's fine. We're going to bring them up today, but I just want to reinstate how important those are for the energies I'm trying to share. We want the 7 virtues and sexual energies to be in the same mental map. So when you think of one, you're thinking of the other. So I want you to merge those 2 ideas if you can right now. Sexual energies are connected with the 7 virtues. And that may help, I would say, with what we're trying to scaffold right now, which is some very helpful structure for your sexual energies to thrive in the next year, which is the goal. So a lot of people, I would say, who are mystical, spiritual, understand the raw capacity of people's sexual energy, and they use storytelling and fear and lots of stuff, especially towards the naive, the naive group of people, the young people, to redirect and harness people's attention and sexual energies to create something that who knows might be productive. So even, for example, even hugest, most broad example is there's a movie that everybody's super excited about. And ooh, all these people are so excited to get to work at this movie and on this set and being there, and all of your guys' energy and your time and your effort is going into making this movie. Every single little bit of pain and work and blood, sweat, and tears of all the little tiny details of making a movie, all of that energy, and the movie's done. And you realize that they've edited together one of the most horrible stories and most violent, terrible movies that you've ever seen. And you realize that your energy has gone into and towards something that is now traumatizing other people, or at least become the voice of some type of lobbied desire of some type of oligarchic monopolizing company in the world or something like that. Or even that the head actors or the child actors on that movie set experienced one really horrible incident with one of the CEOs of the, you know, companies of whatever that's sponsoring this movie. And that just all of these people's work and all of these people's efforts were this smokescreen for one rich person to just pick out a child to harass and then put on a screen and then perpetuate that trauma to millions of people. So Earth is full of content that is created with this sexual trauma. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. A lot of music, a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows have this underlying sexual trauma. And it's just the subtle energy that maybe the head actor or the head or one of the people on screen had been hurt and now is subtly oozing that pain from them being hurt and being lured in and embarrassed and immersed and smoke screened into this environment that was entirely designed to attract and I think hunt down talent and young raw energy like that. So everything's coming to light about that. We have to have that discussion even more openly now that they burned down all the houses in the Palisades and Malibu and surrounding areas. Even the Getty got lit up a little bit, which is human trafficking, I would say capital of the area, and is well known in the community to, and people in my community specifically have gone to that location and have experienced even losing time, and really dangerous, not great things have happened there. Like it's not great. So the fact that we're encroaching in on these spaces which seem to have some type of, I want to say, immunity to hurt people over and over and over in the industry, and now there seems to be some type of energetic pushback. It's visible, and we're processing and progressing with that. We are not going to just let that go. That momentum has opened up everything we need to be able to free the souls, like we said, that have been smoke screened into oozing out this like underlying trauma, this secret trauma they've endured. And also, I would say, giving true karmic retribution to beings that were locked in with certain resources in that area from contracts, and that's all they got out of their contract, and now it's gone. So there is contracts that have been released, I would say, in this process, again, on people's sexual energies and on life force itself for some people, I think. So this fire has been very inspiring, I would say, for people around the world in a different way than I would say, the hurricanes were. The hurricanes were a different type of disaster. And honestly, they are being underreported compared to the fires in Los Angeles area. And those are being overreported versus the fires in Maui. Those were, in my opinion, heavily underreported situation. And in Maui, that one was still one of the most devastational because people were not evacuated. They were not able to get out, I would say, properly or in time, and they were not helped out. And in most of the fires since then that seem to be weird, I've noticed that there's been more of an effort to allow people to leave and get away in time. So thankfully that has improved. But the pressure's on. The pressure's on for all of us to focus our energy. And we just experienced, like I said, Christmas, which is the story in Christianity, which is, I think, potentially the most popular religion on the earth. I don't know if that's for sure. We're going to talk about religion, but I want to talk about the one in Western society that has a stronghold on the sexual energies and the lore and of what mom, dad, child, divine masculine, divine feminine means for humanity. And I put this here because I'll be honest with you, before we get into the other topics we need to tackle, which I'll mention here, are circumcision, we need to talk about. We're going to also talk about people who are trans, who are forced to be trans, not people who are willingly engaging trans, but children who were forced before they knew what was going on. It's a different situation. It's just we have to use some of the same language. And again, the nativity as this archetypal plug, I would say, in the sexual energies of, I would say, the modern world. So we're going to be dealing with this plug or this blockage, I want to say, in the sexual energies. So we're also going to work on clearing and orienting your inner child raw creative energy. We're also going to project a field of pure love, and we're going to work on that love field to be that armor of God around our planet and around our DNA generationally. That is the plan for today's workshop. So in front of you, you may have a pen and paper. I want you to please take a moment, focus, and I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you really want out of this workshop today? And write that down and then comment it on my Facebook or YouTube feed. Let me know. So I'm going to add that in to our workshop, and I want you to be a part of this too. It's most efficient that we work together. So while you're doing that, I'm going to get into first what the 7 virtues are. So before we get into anything sexual, like I said, I'm trying to merge the ideas that when you go into sexual energies, you think of raw power and you think of the 7 virtues, which are humility, charity, chastity, gratitude, temperance, patience, and diligence. So 1, humility, it means that you are aware that you are able to make mistakes and you are allowed to make mistakes and learn for the rest of your life. So you have to be humble. So when mistakes do happen, you go, oh, this is one of those times. And you just have to accept that and be like, okay, I'm being taught something or I'm being redirected by God. Either way, it is what it is. It is another love. It is another, in my opinion, a boon of love in your life. It is an opportunity for you to grow. It's good. So being humble to the idea you can fail and make mistakes, and that's a part of life. And if you don't go through that, then you actually aren't going to develop a very interesting personality or any charisma at all. And you will also probably not gain the level of intelligence you need to continue competing in the market and amongst your peers. Humility and these mistakes, they create intelligence in us. So they're great systems. Number 1, humility. Number 2, charity. This workshop, for example, is an example of charity and something I have done to create an opportunity to give back to the community with my particular overflowing cup. So whatever it is that your overflowing cup is, you could be amazing at this or that, and you just could do it all day. Then great. Give that out and don't worry about it not being able to come. There's this illusion that we're going to make ourselves poorer by sharing and being charitable, but that only makes people so happy that they turn around and give charity to you, and then all of a sudden it's a sharing circle and everybody's having more fun. So trust me, charity is a wholesome way to I would say solidify your place in the community for sure. Third virtue is chastity, which is basically having discernment and being wholesome with your temple and your body and your attention, your eyes, your ears, what you're ingesting. You're chaste, you are discerning, you're wholesome, and it's to protect your inner child's raw energy, like I'm talking about. We're going to bring up more. So this chastity is what we all do. We don't jump into a dumpster full of knives because we're like, we love ourselves more than that. That's not good. So that's extreme example. But we want to engage in wholesome stuff. When you see like a new trailer for some slasher, horror, violent thing, just don't engage it. That's only going to make you feel icky inside because those guys look like they're having a bad time. So that's going to rub off on you. People in the movie scene look like they're having a bad time. Why would you willfully bring in fake having a bad time energy into your life? Just, it's not even real. Save that for real scenarios. Don't just scoop yourself a bad time for a piece of entertainment. I would say choose something more wholesome. You might need to learn how to redirect entire riverways in order to irrigate large areas. And there's some educational things you guys maybe need to realize, like, oh, I need to actually know this. Reassess what you spend your time doing. 4 is gratitude. So let's all just have a moment of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this raw life force that I am. And thank you, thank you, thank you for the 7 virtues in my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you for guiding me true and protecting me with the pure field of the armor of God, me and my generations. I'm very grateful I woke up today. I'm very grateful that you guys are here with me. I'm very grateful that I have literal friends who are watching this workshop right now. People that I would trust with my life are here with me. That's what I'm grateful for. Temperance is number 5. Temperance is in tarot as well. It's basically talking about choosing how you want to emotionally react. Do you want to completely dysregulate your nervous system and give it your all? Sometimes you do, and that's what feels right. And you're like going to flow with it and see what happens, for sure. But a lot of the time, temperance is the answer. And temperance just means biding your time and biding your emotions. It's really about saving your goods and your emotional juice for what really matters. And if you realize that you might be wasting your emotions on something, there's plenty of stuff in the world that deserves you to just pour your love and emotion and energy onto. Like there's children everywhere who need to know that they're safe and that there is wise people around. So make something to help them with your temper your vibe with other adults. Adults, literally, I hate to say this, but truly, the collective that is actually holding the potential of energy are the children. Once you're an adult, we can be basically useless to a point. And it's like our charge does not compete with a child's charge. And what they do with their raw energy intention is more powerful than what Bob, who's arguing with you all day and smokes cigarettes and has since he was 14, is going to say. He's barely holding a charge. Bob is like basically ash. You can argue, you're going to waste energy on them. They're only going to get life force out of you and your attention. So, like I said, temper your energy for what matters. And I could have a million arguments, but instead I make a stack on Instagram and I give back to the people who at least resonate with me. I know they're out there. I know someone's going to smile just like these things made me smile. And someone needs to know this information. For example, redirect that energy. So we've got patience is number 6. Patience is the best virtue when it comes to sexual energies, because I would say, and this is what monks and religious spiritual people, they get obsessive over this one, and their patience with their sexual energies and their raw energy to actually try and make something. They hold on to it and they wait and wait and wait. And if you wait too long, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's true. So you can go into a toxic level of patience with your sexual raw creative energy and being like, I gotta wait for this perfect opportunity to make this thing or do this thing. You could you you know I don't want to say mean things or like say something or project something in your life, but no day is promised. I would say you should be very grateful you woke up today and just hope you're going to wake up tomorrow. Like we all No day is promised is kind of the vibe. So really, if you're being too patient, you are squandering, I would say, what your potential is. You're going to, like I said, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. But certainly being patient not to jump in and use it too soon. Because, like I said before, the industry and old people who are lacking sexual raw energies have learned ways to hook you and try and get your attention onto their project so it can manifest. There's whistleblowers coming out who are going to intend to do that with our collective, even whistleblowers about this, that, or the other thing, and to maybe create a project or start a momentum on something. Patience with that. If it's meant to be, God will make it happen and you can just participate. But I would say nothing needs anyone for it to manifest. God will make what needs to happen, in my opinion. And if it's through you, then of course, but you won't even be able to stop it. You won't even think about it most of the time. A lot of the stuff we do without thinking. It's when we have to sit back and start thinking about something. That's when we realize maybe that's actually, we're hesitating for a reason. And that's when patience comes in again. When you're hesitating, that's when patience comes in. You're like, wait a minute, we're going to be patient about this. Let's sleep on it. That's my favorite one. Especially if you're emotionally about it, just sleep on it. Unless it's, unless you literally can't sleep on it and see how you feel in the morning. Patience. Diligence is the seventh one. Diligence. So you're going to be dealing with it in the morning, patience until the morning, but the diligence is you are going to handle it. You're not just going to bury it in the sand. You know what I mean? You are not going to, it's not going to go missing. You're going to put it on your schedule. You're going to deal with it. And even if dealing with it is, I'm going to schedule this thing for 2 weeks from now, that's still dealing with the task. Make yourself the alert. Okay, I'm intentionally going to deal with this particular task on this day, and you've diligently virtued yourself. So that's the 7 virtues coming from me and how I want to explain them. If you look up the 7 virtues, sometimes they do say them in different ways, but they do come from a specific pope created this list based off of the 7 sins, because the 7 sins was making people were just too stupid. I want to say sometimes when they go in that direction, it makes things harder to understand. You really have to be super clear about what you want to affirm in people, not what you don't want, more what you do want. And then those things will contradict naturally. We do want patience, patience, patience. So when something is rushing you and coming in your face, that's the devil too, they say. The devil rushes you. It panics you. When that's coming in your life, you'll be like, well, that's not a virtue. So clearly there's something wrong here. This is not benevolent energy coming at me. It's a negative greeting. So like this opposite of the 7 virtues is a negative greeting on your spirit. And discernment, for your sexual energies and your attention comes from knowing that, I would say. So let's dive into the next. You guys hopefully wrote down. Okay, thank you for writing down what you want to get out of this workshop. I'm just going to acknowledge you all again. Carol is also here. Queen Victor is here. Max is here. I think the people in Cali will have a louder voice compared to the other disasters. Yeah, Maui, those guys aren't famous for being influencers. There isn't any one particular famous person from Maui that we wanted to hear answers from, was there? I don't remember that being a thing. So very good point, Carol. Correlations is here, liberation and confidence. Okay, I'm going to write that down. And then we have, Nikiana says, balance and unity. So we've got liberation. Perfect. That's great. And confidence. And then we have balance and unity. Excellent. Reveal personal and collective problems so we can heal and resolve. So reveal, heal, reveal and heal. I'm going to write. Thank you, Jeremy. And love to clear the self of collective holdups so the heart can thrive. Okay, well, clearing up collective holdups and trauma. Hello, Saint. Okay. clear. Yeah, we're going to collective holdups. Okay, we've got knowledge and inspiration as well for the codes. Thank you, Victor. Victory is coming up a ton, by the way, so your code is very relevant and your presence in the community is very relevant right now. I see you. I see more than maybe you guys realize, but I see lots. Because I need to. This is my community. I see what my community's doing. And I need to know. You guys, things are shown to me in impossible ways about our community where I could literally be stubborn and be like, I don't want to hear anything else from this community. Not a single other person in this community. I want to hear nothing. Oh my God forbid I ever do something like that, because I swear I probably get hit by a freaking like comet or something with all your names on it, because it's just, that is part of the job, is the community. Overcoming shame from religious upbringings. Yes, that is what we're hitting next. Thank you for reading the room so well, Trevor. Overcoming shame, religious upbringings. So I'm going to put all this in the final meditation for all of us today too. So if you can stick around to the end, please help me harness that. Carol is saying harness energy to create a personal online brand. Exactly. Harness. If you guys don't have a brand yet, we need you all to have a brand by the end of this month. And we're going to see, because we don't know which platform to brand onto. We're in that one of those moments. I think we're even potentially hitting Web 4 energy more so than Web 3, because Web 3 is like socials, kind of. And no, that was crypto, and now we're kind of going quantum. So I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second. Don't worry about it. We've got that covered. The Regarden says, I also resonate with clearing collective holdups so the heart can thrive. Excellent. Thank you, Rhiannon. Rhiannon is here, the goddess herself. Hi. Nice to see you, Coral. Clear second chakra blockages due to trauma. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, God. Second chakra blockage. Yeah, this is all great all around the theme. That's that appetite, that desire, the feeling of desire, that magnetic pull. Getting back to that place of security, to desire again, to desire life. I totally get that. Desire. Because that's psychological, a lot of it. And it has been put in to the collective. So don't feel that personal. That was designed. And implanted. So we're going to move through that. That'll be on the list. Define one's personal brand as a former marketer. This is a mind F for me. Oh, it's tricky, huh? Okay, well, we'll get there. We'll define it. I have my UFO experiencer brand and I share my UFO sightings. Perfect. We are all going to need that. I think that's an excellent idea we can all have a brand like that because all of our voices are going to thankfully merge and like level out the monopoly that wants to try and take over the narrative of sightings and contact. We don't want that. You guys are all individually connected and being contacted individually. So it's your intimate relationship with God. Like contact it's a godly thing, in my opinion. I've been disassociative since 2020-ish. Yeah, for sure. So that's the spell that they're about to break. They're about to break the spell that they put on everybody in 2020. I don't know if you've noticed that, but that's the momentum. If I had, like, I've been seeing this a lot lately, but rubber stamps, like boop, boop, like we're stamping that one. I see it in my mind. It's like when I say something for sure, it's like I see a stamp. I need to get a stamp, just start stamping stuff. I love stamps. Didn't need it, but let's get into these. Let's get into the codes. Okay, so where are we starting? We're going to start with I want to say we're going to start with your root chakra first, which is kind of at the center of the energy here, because that's the first place that we get dug at. When the root chakra is effed, the rest of the chakras have no structure. And so, or have no real charge. Like, it's really tricky to gain a charge if you're not connected to your root and into the ground. What disconnects you from the earth and from the ground? Deep philosophical and psychological disassociations from what is being culturally proposed, I would say. So if you don't agree with what the culture, what your planet is doing, you're going to have a hard time being in your root chakra and being grounded. We are moving out of that. That was the big root chakra shakeup happened in 2020. So we're recovering from that on a collective level, because your security and all of your needs, your basic needs and your security were under threat, even if it was just ideologically under threat. Like, the potential was in the language. This could happen. We may have this. And there was so much coulds and mays that were dangerous. Even like civil war was a huge one that whole time. We may go into civil war. We may, because the election was fraudulent and everybody knows that. There was, and who knows, every election was fraudulent. It just matters how so and for what reasons, potentially, because the system, I don't think, even has a coherent like structure. It's just like an amalgamation of a whole bunch of other little old structures and weird little backdoor routes that have been installed. Anyways, the election process has caused people to have an ungrounded experience because it's an dishonest and unpredictable situation. So root chakra, I would say the challenge for you and all of us has been to find what truly grounds us and what truly gives us permission to exist. And again, like they say this in the Bible, I don't know how, but they say the animals outside don't work to get food or money. They are provided for already. There is enough for them. And I'm sure sometimes there isn't enough, for you're hunted, but overall the species are all able to somehow live and be provided for, and they don't need money around you. The kingdom of heaven is still thriving. If all of a sudden the election went crap on 2020 and then all of the animals started having a terrible time, then panic. Then we have an issue. But that's not what happened, was it? Do you guys remember what happened in 2020 when what happened to the animals in 2020? We had a boom in pretty much every single population of everything other than human beings. And I don't even know if we had a boom in human beings, because we might have, because there was more people at home potentially impregnating each other instead of at work separated. But the animals actually had a really awesome time, and their root chakra was actually being relieved of from us constantly mining their space for our own needs. The root chakra of the earth actually healed in that time, ironically. And there was a level of healing that was capable, that happened. And I think that's why it was all permitted, was for nature to heal and get that leg up that it needed to survive, I would say, and continue hosting the human ascension that's happening on this planet too, with consideration of all the other species on Earth. And so I hope that that maybe gives you a new place to ground in, is watching nature and seeing how nature is provided for, and realizing and probably reflecting now, if you're alive, you were provided for in that time and you were able to survive. And that should solidify your faith that you are provided for and that there is a way to survive here and there is a benevolence on earth, and that you are grounded in that knowledge that you can plant your feet on the ground in the security of nature and feel supported and loved and connected. You can grab a tree and hug it, and you know that tree is going to engage you. Let's guarantee, in a way, you're going to go through the grass, you're going to watch the flowers. It's guaranteed. There's some guarantees to life right now that can help ground you. It's about to be spring here in the northern hemisphere. Sexual energies are bursting. There's animals who are trying to make nests in every nook of my that's hanging off over near my motorhome right now because they know, like they're all about to try again make a whole new group of themselves. So the sexual energies on in North America are warming up. They're defrosting in a way. I've already noticed it. I mean, here in the desert they get to have more fun because there's no snow, but we're talking about the root. So if you are struggling with your root chakra, you're either wearing way too much red or you don't wear and aren't around enough red. And if you need an extra boost, you may want to go check out and go hiking somewhere barefoot to kind of remind yourself that you are connected to something bigger than just your own little microverse in your apartment. That will help with your root chakra. So root chakra, again, is your survival. It's connecting with Mother Earth, the ground. It helps you be centered, making your mind pure. There's no thoughts in root chakra land. It's just connecting with Mother Earth, and your body is grounded. You're not reactive. You're not inspired. You're just humming with the earth, content. That's our root chakra moment. So just let's remember that space. Let's hum with the earth. Let's pretend we're a big, heavy boulder just sitting in the desert sun and just absorbing all that warmth and that knowledge that there's not even a beast on earth big enough to roll you around. You're such a big boulder and you're just going to be here and you're going to be sitting here and you're grounded and you're connected. And you're so connected to the ground you're on, you're merging with it. There is no separation between you and Mother Earth and this ground. You are all a piece of one thing. Her flesh is you, and you are her, and you are a team. And you're here to listen to whatever it is that she is also saying. Be grounded enough that you can claim that you know what the earth is doing and how she feels, because you're with her. You feel her. If you haven't been, that's number one. You need to keep sitting outside and pretending you're a big old rock until you really melt in and feel her. That will help so much. It'll also help you remember and build the field of pure love in your body. It'll help you replenish your chi. Again, the life force will flow right into you from the earth. So root chakras first. So then we move into the second chakra. So this is all dimensions of yourself and your capacity to weave a tapestry of your life. So you're no longer the rock. You now have legs and you're able to begin going in multiple dimensions. You're able to walk and travel in multiple dimensions and experiment in multiple dimensions. And in doing so, you're going to take the parts out of that you identify with and feel good for you and that you love. So all the things you love are a reflection of who you are. So you're going to pick out the things you love from all the little things you do in your life, and they're going to weave into a tapestry that is you on a fundamental level. And this tapestry is something you should enjoy weaving. It should be something that is the creative energy. It is the creative, it's desire. It is that attraction energy. You're attracted to developing this particular dimension of your life right now because you love something there and you love watching the progress and experimenting. And when it no longer is something you love, you're like, well, I was loving that, but you know what? I'm actually really loving this right now. So I'm going to lean more into this area next. It's honestly a lot about flexibility, your creative energy. It's supposed to be transdimensional. You should be able to warm yourself and find something you love in everything. For an experiment, you guys, and write this down if you can't do it right now, but write it down. I would challenge you to open up a magazine, maybe at the dentist's office or wherever you get a magazine. And I challenge you to flip and look for something you love on every page of the magazine and challenge yourself to find love in everything you engage. And this can be a challenge when you see something really horrifying and ugly, but you can challenge yourself to find something you love out of that thing. It that shows the depth and the width, I would say, of your sacral chakra. And if you can find a little piece of everything in the world inside yourself, you are fully immersed and integrated with the world. And again, I would say informed on what to do with your sexual energies and how they can be applied the best. So let's just visualize our orange energy, as you can see, is kind of radiating out from the red here. We're going to go into the orange energy and expand, like you can see. So we were this red little rock of like wholesomeness in the heart of earth, like a red pumping heart, our root chakra. And then we have this aura of orange that's come radiating out from us. And it's not just from the second chakra. This is all around you. This is your whole, this is what I'm saying. This is your charisma. This is your love. This is your love incarnate. You love this, and this. You love the day. You love what you're wearing. You love the color orange. Like, I don't care. You are aware of what you love and you are exuding that awareness that you know what you love and you know what you like out of the world. That is a confidence. That is the second chakra, in my opinion, is knowing what what it is that you love about the world and being able to also display that on yourself and glow that awareness. Our second chakras are very healthy. They are glowing. We are in love with all dimensions of the self, which includes everything. All is one. So when you're fully in love with all the dimensions of the self, you're glowing. And there's that love, like you could walk in any building and go to any restaurant, talk to any person, look at anything and find something that you love out of that thing. That's the level of confidence of a secure sacral chakra, in my opinion. So what has gone about messing with these two areas and making it hard for us culturally to engage these warm, wholesome parts of ourselves, I would say, are the connection with Mother Earth and our connection with love in general and the love for the self and our creative cauldron of energies that gathers in our lower body from the earth, from gravity. Like it gathers there. They call that the lower dantian, or like I said, the cauldron of our energy. Our chi holding device is like our belly and our lower belly. That's where it all gathers. So I want to move into, like we were talking about, the religious aspect and cultural aspects that have confused, I want to say, the lower chakras of our collective. Just talk about it. I'm not going to probably blow your mind with any of this information, but I'm bringing it up. So with the nativity that's over my head over here, this is one of those scenarios that I feel, unfortunately, may have caused some sexual blockages and in our abilities to connect with what being a human is, the real spiritual purity of what a human is. I believe kind of gets mangled up and screwed up a little bit with the symbology of Jesus's birth and like the nativity scene, because there is, in my opinion, no other cultural baby or birth that happens that we know the lore about that's just between two adults who have engagements and create a person, and that person is awesome because their parents are awesome. Like I don't know a story about that that's just like, oh yeah, that's this story, it's told a million different ways. If you can think of what that story is archetypally in our culture and I'm not getting it, like, let me know, because let's recall what the story of Jesus's birth is. The story is that the woman, who was a young girl, she was not very old. I believe she may have been 14, potentially. So, red flag there. The story was that this girl was visited by an angel, and then she was with child all of a sudden, which completely removes any sexual education on how children are conceived from the primary story about where where God emerges in our lives. And it's, to me, it's misleading. And I think that's caused a lot of issues, not only about how women are viewed and understood, but again, how conceiving and having children naturally is seen in the religious lens. It's seen as a lesser thing than how God was born, which to me is a lie and is meant to rip us apart from divinity. Our own sexual energies and how we procreate I think this story was meant to separate us from the divinity of coming together and creating life with, a consenting partner. And where all you guys mostly came from, you came from two people who created you, right? And that story is not being told properly, I would say, through the story of Christ, which is a bummer. And again, why I exist outside of religion, because I have to have that commentary on top of how I've watched these stories subconsciously, unconsciously influence people away from their own sexual energy power and their own creative power, their own wombs. I mean, gosh, Joseph, for example, was visited by the angel again after that angel visited Mary and was informed that, yes, Mary was with a child, and he was just going to have to look over her and deal with that, which again, none of that really makes any relatable sense to how it is to have a child. And it's very weird and disconnected. All of a sudden, Jesus has a stepdad, and God like came in between his parents and did something to then make it this awkward situation where, you know what I mean? Kind of mess with their marriage, mess with their legitimacy of their potential chastity for each other. Like it's a weird, I would say it's kind of a clustered, messed up idea. Like almost like the birth and the conception archetypal stories of Christ, I think has been a major aspect of screwing up how people think about making children and even engaging it at all, like feeling like, well, if we don't need to be doing that because God's just going to walk in an angel and knock up one of our 14-year-olds whenever he needs to have a child walk the earth. You know what I mean? Like, and every woman's pregnancy that happens naturally with another man is not as good as Jesus. You know what I mean? And that's not what Jesus came to teach. In my opinion, he was always like, we're all capable of this. Like, let's all just be Christed beings and live in this heaven and stop being weird. Like, snap out of it, you guys, and start living in the heaven that we literally are living in. Stop with all this weird humaning, fussing rules and rituals, which involve circumcision. So let's get into that next. So not only did Jesus come in, do we know if Jesus was a circumcised young man either? I don't think that would happen, but I don't know because I don't know fully. And you guys maybe more theologians or historians maybe know, or maybe can guess best if he was or was not. But again, imagine 14-year-old girl gets pregnant, has to have her child almost in secret because because she's escaping King Herod, who's trying to kill off all the babies because they know this baby's coming, and she has to have her baby in private, and then wise men show up anyways and claim authority and start getting into her space about her own kid. And then, I mean, in the Eastern Orthodox Church, like I was saying, there was a circumcision of the Lord Day. And I don't know if that was about Christ or if that's like some other guy that they proliferate the story of. I didn't look it up. I know I said I would, but I was too nervous. I was like, I don't want to know. I just want it to stop. I want circumcision to stop. So I think, like I said, unfortunately, as beautiful and divine the potential of the seed of God to come through, divine, what was that? In, oh my God, I can't remember the word. What? Divinely pregnant, whatever that word was, conception. The divine conception, like none of that is normal. That's not a human experience, I would say. So it's a almost a beyond human experience, but there is no relatable human sexual birth experience like where two people had sex and had a baby. There I don't know if there's any of that like really postured as much in religion. No, it's the supernatural birth that happened that some people don't even believe, makes sense, is possible. Like in the biology, it's not possible in a way for especially probably during that time, the density of the spirit world. Like I don't know if that's true. But then there is an argument that Mary herself was a part of the temple of Isis and that they already knew the rituals in order to actually get divine conception, that she purposefully was put through this and this scenario was known and was meant to happen, which can then go into the discussion that it was aliens and that that this isn't a divine conception, it's a hybrid child, you know what I mean, and it was implanted by higher dimensional beings. That's also a part of the conversation. So as I'm saying all this, it's extremely confusing and very unrelatable when it comes to sexual energy. So I think that unfortunately, Jesus's birth story and all these archetypes they've neatly put together in some sort of poem or, child's book probably doesn't actually honestly talk about what happened here. And potentially there is a very matter of fact explanation for Jesus's conception and birth and purpose here and what he is and what he's doing and what Mary was able to do and what Joseph was able to do all on a soul level. But that's not talked about. That's not talked about. That's not what the Christmas movies that we're playing were talking about. That wasn't part of the subject. So Immaculate Conception, yeah. And then right before Christmas, the Congress came out and talked about the Immaculate Constellation. So was he immaculately conceived from a constellation nearby? Is that the in-between conversation? For us and in my realm and my friends, yes, that is the conversation we're having. And we've been having. That's just because we were educated enough to keep searching for answers in all of the information available. We weren't satisfied with this. And so we continued studying, and we weren't the only ones. Over time, that has been happening. So, what is, I would say, what is the best case scenario for a child's birth? If I had to rewrite the nativity story or the story of Jesus's birth, or at least make some type of archetypal story about how people come to be and how they, how people come together and create a life, and then how they raise and support that life to do that again and make more life. That's what the second chakra education system and root chakra education system needs to cover. And usually in the wild, it's pretty easy for animals to know what's going on because they follow their hormones and they follow the springtime cycles for the most part. And they watch their parents and their peers engage in mating rituals. And then they watch them engage in birthing and taking care of the young. And in nature, it's very normal. You don't have to educate anyone in nature how to make more of themselves for the most part, except for with pandas, but pandas aren't a natural animal. I'm pretty sure that's why they're having that problem. And it's a sign that they aren't, their lives They don't want to continue living, like they aren't meant to be here. If you're forcing, I want to say, life to be in a location that it's not procreating in, like in a lot of zoos and sanctuaries that happens, then there's something wrong. And that's on the root chakra level, the baseline level. If there's something wrong with the orange chakra, the sacral chakra, there's no procreating, there's no babies, there's no dating, there's no creation, there's not even any competition, then the root chakra is to blame. And there's something deeply wrong with the environment. And it's not allowing for the energy to flow up out of survival mode. And you're stuck. So most of us are actually stuck in survival mode. And I would say a lot of it is because you don't resonate with any of the spiritual religions that are running the planet right now. So it's this survival mode because you realize you're a minority in even how you believe sexual energy is meant to flow, I would say, because it's not like, where does Christianity expect you to go with this and with your sexual energy and creative energy? Do they expect you also to be Mary and just immaculately conceive a child? You know what I mean? I don't think that's ever suggested in the Bible. Like, be like her, but that's the only example you really get is her. And she's the lady of Christianity, is Jesus's mom. And she's experienced something supernatural, so it's unrelatable to human beings. So it's weird that that's what a woman is, because she did something that women don't do. You know what I mean? She's not a woman, she's something else at this point. So in a way, she can't represent us either. And a 14-year-old divinely conceiving mother can't represent women, in my opinion. But she was a pure enough vessel potentially to host such a high vibrational being and give birth to it. And her sexual energies may have been protected from even being intermingled with Joseph and his DNA and his bloodline's energy, intermingling with her sexual energies. Like, that scenario maybe was necessary for that particular soul to get here and get here clean. But that's not how all of us were born, for example, like I'm saying over and over. So we need to repair that, and we need to more so acknowledge that and figure out some type of boring but matter-of-fact story that we can share and tell about how it is to pair up, get your homestead ready, and have more people. And then also maybe make a brand or a company or something like that to provide you with your family, like give back to the community from with their family you made. So I'm coming up with that in my mind. We're going to move on to specifically the modern day and how, honestly, how well Jesus came in, I would say, to fight back against the religious practices that were prolific in paganism and Judaism, especially, because there was bad stuff going on. And Jesus' stories are constantly about how he broke the rules in front of people, the dumb rules, and performed miracles, just cracking open everyone's mind about what's actually allowed and possible creatively in their day-to-day, because they were on such mind control underneath the, I would say it was the Jewish faith, and then the Romans, and I want to say the pagans, which is kind of the same group, Roman pagan. And so one of the biggest problems in that community, and still that is a huge elephant in the room, and it does not get talked about in our culture enough, and is going to stop this year, is the message that I'm getting, is circumcision and childhood vaccines. The insertion or the taking away of anything, even clamping them early and taking away their placenta. Like, we're not detaching a baby from their placenta until the placenta falls off energy. We are not messing with the new, fresh baby until they can, and they're not doing anything to them. They all have to consent to everything that they engage. We are thus there to educate them on what their options are and what options they're capable of, like, engaging, until they grow into a consenting adult and make all those decisions themselves. You can body modify yourself all the way up and down when you are a consenting adult. Go ahead. But as a baby and into your adulthood, the rule is that we should not be able to lay a single hand and modify you physically at all, because you cannot consent to that. And it would be considered coercion on our end. That is the law, in my opinion. That is the truth. And that has not been the case in our society. And we went on a whole tangent about trans rights the last few years. And I believe it's because there are children who are forced into a trans lifestyle from birth. And that is a part of some people's religious belief on this planet. I've heard enough about it. I know it's out there, and I think it's way more prolific than you realize. And that is one of the big disclosures that's making people uncomfortable. They don't know how we're going to broach the fact that a lot of people you think are men were born women, and a lot of people you think are women were born men, and they were forced that life from their parents and their parents' parents. That's a big thing that we're having to deal with. It's just a fact. It's a fact. And as a psychic medium, it's annoying how many messages I get about this, and how even people in my own life don't want to hear it because they don't believe me. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, but I don't care enough to just make this stuff up. I'm getting this information for a reason. And I think it is to protect those souls too, to realize who got hurt before they could even say no. Now, trans people who are forced into a trans world and life without their consent, that's an extreme populace, and that's not everyone's case. But a lesser form of that has been happening for a very long time. And like I said, it's been happening through the Jewish faith specifically, and how that's found its way into any sort of Christian home is beyond me. But circumcision is a ritual in order to disempower and stupefy men, because it hinders their even nervous system and brain development when they do that. There is studies about this. You guys can look it up already. It causes, and it's meant to basically make you a subservient slave person. It is an attempt to make you a slave. And so our men, especially, so many of them have been hurt like this. Unconsenting, first of all. That's a big one. That one is big because it really does, in my opinion, it can change you forever. And unless you have the intention and the know-how, you can't fix it. There's a lot of stuff that's happened to you that if you don't deal with it, will just stay permanent. But you are able to be neuroflexible. You have the capacity to change things you're aware of. So that's what we have to talk about. Is we have to say, hey, you have to maybe put in some deliberate effort to help grow back your brain. And in a way, I would say growing back even your foreskin is possible. And I think that is our ability to literally manifest stuff in our own hands. You guys are going to flex on everybody, literally being able to grow your body parts back. Like if it's teeth, whatever it is, I think that we're on the brink of that as well. And it's going to be weird. So maybe the tech, or like the whatever it is, even the phrase that'll help you grow it back will come out right as it'll be illegal. And it's like, oh, we're mad about circumcision, but here's the solution at the same time. It's like maybe the solution and the problem are going to be broached at the same time. But it's not just males and boys that are being circumcised. There are also countries in Africa and in the Middle East, I'm pretty sure, and potentially in Asia. I don't know everywhere. Potentially just right down the corner, your local medical place. So if you say the right words to the whatever foreign doctor that's there, they'll do that for your child right on American soil or wherever. That's happening. And they're doing it to the girls as well. But the girls is even more invasive. It takes off more of their organ. It's like the karma of doing that to somebody else. I assume is not going to go well. So that's really bad. That's going to be really bad for whoever did that to those girls. It's not going to go well. I'm assuming all of them are having horrible accidents and getting their karma back for whatever the attacks that they gave other people. Like, that karma is going to smack them back. I don't know how it's going to happen because I don't know who these people are. But if I did and I watched their lives, their whole lives, guarantee something horrible is going to happen to those people for doing that to children. This is also going to be the case for every single nurse. I'm sorry, nurses. Every single healthcare practitioner that vaccinated a child before the age of 18 years old. That, in my opinion, is another, and that was boys and girls. That was everybody was invaded. Their body was invaded by a foreign thing, foreign genetics, foreign agendas, literally, into their flesh and into their skin, into their bloodstream, into their brain, into their genetics. So if you weren't circumcised and you weren't vaccinated, you are probably one of the most rare human beings walking the earth. And if you haven't taken any pharmaceuticals, and you've also been able to stay away from any of the spraying that's happened in the air, and you haven't drank any of the tap water in any cities, or unfiltered any, or drank any unfiltered water from any natural source either, you may have a chance to have avoided all of the ways that have tried to kill us and make us like a sawed off, dumb, barely capable group of humanoids. And I'm very curious because as we continue these next few years, there are children who are going to be born in those conditions. You and me in our generation are having children in the forests of Costa Rica after purifying their bodies for like 30 years, just hoping that their child that they birth is going to be clean and clear enough to avoid any sort of even genetic diseases that keep showing up in the genetic line, because finally the father and the mother, the location, all of the food, maybe will keep that being strong enough so they can overcome all these genetic diseases that keep coming up to try and show that there's a problem in the environment. But I was vaccinated as a child, so I'm not in that category. I assume there is something that has altered in me since that time from my original template. And so now again, that's the conversation, is can we reset our original templates and all of the stuff that we endured, including your dental work and all that stuff? Can you reset yourself to your divine blueprint, the perfect form that you were born in, and before all these external additions? Can you return to that and grow your flesh from those codes? And that is an understanding I do have. And the more vital sexual energy you have, the quicker you can heal yourself and regrow yourself, with the intention that I'm regrowing my cells with my divine blueprint, the untouched divine blueprint of my soul, into this reality. It's an intention you're allowed to have. And that is the direction we're trying to take today's momentum. If you aren't catching on to that yet, we're swiftly on our way. So we are going to now mutually clear all of this stuff. So we're going to clear religious programming and confusing stories about what a mommy is, what a daddy is, what a baby is. We're going to clear all that out. Reset mommy, daddy, baby, natural codes. Yeah, and then we're going to be orienting it towards, like you've been wanting, your brands, your children, your home, your glow in general. So let's do that right now together. Dear God, I give permission now to benevolently clear my mind, body, spirit, and generational energies from all that no longer serves or expresses my divine blueprint that you gave me, God. I am open to listening to whatever it is that you recommend I do to aid this clearing process. My eyes and my ears are open to the guidance necessary to help me clear this. Thank you, God, for guiding me in the direction to clear and successfully reset my divine blueprint. So all of my cells are divine sovereign beings expressing the divine blueprint that you gave me perfectly. And we are breaking through all layers of illusion, all layers of oppression in order to glow and shine the divine blueprint that is the I am that we are in this body and expression. I clear out all beliefs that are holding me back. May they be obviously wrong, and I can discern them perfectly. Thank you, God, for clearing my vessel so I may be perfectly discerning in connection with the 7 virtues. You can follow that or not, but that's what I felt guided to say. Thank you for that, Jasper. Extra clearing, just dog energy, let it clear it off. The dog is celebrating all of us. All right, so next we are going to orient this energy. So, dear God, we have cleared the energy. We are aligned with our divine blueprint. And I wish now to properly orient my mind, body, spirit complex and generational DNA to honor my inner child's raw creative energy. Dear God, I am approaching and welcoming and fully embracing my inner child's raw creative energy, the energy you gave me and that is now completely untouched again and expressing its divine blueprint. I honor and love my inner child's raw creative energy, every ounce of it. I am so grateful for this gift of life that is this raw inner child creative energy. I am so grateful to be installed and intact with my inner child's raw creative energy despite all efforts to distract me away from its perfection. I now engage this raw perfection that I am and that I was given divinely into a field of pure love around my body. My inner child's raw creative energy is so vibrant and so accepted by creation that I am emanating a field of love and joy. I fill every inch of the room and the air around me with the buzzing, loving energy of my inner child. This is what the armor of God truly feels like. If you need to engage the armor of God, this is the energy where you should be taking it and expanding it from. The raw inner child creative energy, that love of being alive. That is your armor of God. Now I invite you to smile and realize that you are being given permission right now to expand your field to reach out and encompass the entire planet Earth. You have our permission to expand your love and your excitable inner child raw energy over the entire planet. Fill up every inch of air with the buzzing, joyful energy that is the raw potential of your inner child, creating and fortifying this energy in every one and for our planet's signature at large. We are here and we know the sacred, raw potential of our inner children and our creative energy. And this planet and us are protected with the armor of God that is the love of life. We affirm this space as our mutual creation, and we protect it with our unlimited source of pure love. Thank you, guys. We are now going to be expanding it one more time. Within this earth and in this field we created, all of your ancestors have walked that we are trying to contact right now. We wish to utilize the best and learn from the worst that is present in all of our genetic DNA code. Thank you to all of our relations for all they have done and all they have taught. We honor you with this raw creative energy of our inner child, and we wish to fortify you throughout time with this energy of love and our divine blueprint expressing itself. May our divine blueprint express in ways that honor our whole genetic lineage and our earth and our community. Excellent. Now, when it comes to liberation and confidence, which is our first suggestion here from you guys in the workshop, there is a liberation that's taking place that will not be televised right now with your sexual energies, because you're realizing that it is your inner child's raw creative energy. And a child's raw creative energy is pure. It has pure intentions. It's naive. It's naive. It's free, I would say. Your inner child's raw creative energy is also very confident. I don't know if you've met children under the age of 4, but they're some of the most confident human beings you will ever meet. And that space and that place we've all been can be nurtured and protected. It's a pure place. Ironically, a lot of what we're dealing with in adulthood with this energy has to do with our childhood. And in a way, the inner child's raw creative energy is usually not referred to or even discussed as what develops into sexual energies as you're sexually maturing. And so those two worlds get really confused, in my opinion. I don't think there's a lot of language to help develop that understanding for kids. All that creative energy that they have is only going to then be applied when after they've sexually matured to make a family for the most part. And you should be confident with your desire to build and maintain a family in whatever your family looks like. Family chooses you a lot of the time. For example, I didn't know that I was going to be adopting a dog the day I got my first dog. But I had been sensing that it was coming. And indeed, it changed my life. It completely changed my life. I became and we grew a family that day. And we've grown our family since. And every decision we've made has changed because of that new family member. I've got one standing next to me right now, just hoping that I'm going to bring him up. So you're also a part of the family. Yeah. And we love you. And for the most part, when you grow a family, as soon as you've done so, where does the energy go back to? It turns into inner child, raw creative energy again, because all of a sudden there's a child. And what do they have? Raw creative energy, just all over the place. And if you can engage with that and engage that energy, then again, there's something clearly wrong with how your creative and your sacral chakra energies work. There's too much thinking, there's too much trauma, there's too much expectations potentially, and there's no flow there. And you're having a hard time even weaving yourself in to your own family and their own excitement, and even finding what you love out of what's happening. So for liberation, I would say you have to know you are the one who polices your own creative energies. It's your job. It's your job to know that you are indeed engaging the world from the 7 virtues. If you are engaging the situation with the 7 virtues, then you're free. I would say you're free to engage. If you engage a situation and it's horrible and it doesn't seem very great, then get out of there and pour your energy and love somewhere else. You're free to do so. And you should have the confidence to do so. You should have the internal confidence that you personally have embodied your own inner child, raw, creative passion and energy, and that you still have that intact and that you embrace it and work with it every day creatively. You should have the confidence that you're doing that. And if you aren't doing that yet, by doing that, your confidence will be unbreakable, at least much, much harder to break, because you'll know for sure that you're coming from the right place and you're honoring your inner child with what you're doing. And that builds confidence because you know you're solid. You're solid when you're there. When you're solid, you're confident. When your root chakra and your sacral chakra are healthy and grounded and rested, you're confident, because that's the next chakra up that starts to develop. But you won't be confident. You won't be able to go into your solar plexus. You won't be able to have your will and get confident enough to have a will to do things in the world You won't have those ideas. You won't want to embrace. You won't want to engage. You won't have confidence. So if you're struggling with confidence, just know that it's important for you to go online and figure out how to heal your root chakra and sacral chakra until you start feeling confident. Like I said, easiest way to do that is engaging your inner child and living for them again. Living for them and not bullying them for what they like and what they do. Is if there's nothing wrong with it, then there's no reason to bully them. There's something there. There's an intelligence there, and you trust your inner child because again, that's your divine blueprint. That's a more raw version of you than you've even maybe engaged in a very long time. And that raw version of you is really who you are. And that is who you need to be to truly be grounded and confident. And then again, be able to spread your ideas and spread your goodwill, your charity. It needs to come from the right place. So again, what is it that your inner child would even want to give out to everybody and be charitable about? That could be where you start your brand. That's going to be what your brand is do it for them. Do your brand for your inner child. What was it that they wanted or liked or needed more of in their world and there just wasn't? Do that, be that, do it for them. God, it will make you so happy and feel truly satisfied with this life is satisfying your inner child and their creative dreams. And your inner child's creative dreams, they develop as you do and you age and like your goals as a child may change when you realize that there's a new surf park. You never thought about surfing, but now that surfing is only a couple hours away, your inner child's like, well, maybe I do want to surf and maybe I do want to be a surfer. And you know what I mean? It starts playing with the potentials that they didn't even know were an option for them. So that's what growing into an adult offers your inner child, is creating more options for your inner child to truly come into itself. Have the confidence. Like you've talked to somebody who's tried everything. They're super grounded people most of the time. And they usually aren't even talking your head off. They're usually listening and going, oh yeah, I did that. Imagine somebody who's tried every single like extreme sport vehicle, like they've done sea doing, they've done like, I can't even say all of them, like quadding and you know what I mean? Those types of things. And they've tried them all and they know what they like best. And you refine it over time then. Let your inner child play and then you begin to refine based off of that discovery. And you got to let your inner child continue doing its discovery phase, especially if you didn't do that, if you didn't and weren't able to hold on to your inner child because of whatever traumas or things that made your inner child feel unsafe and unwelcome in this world, which could be a whole book of things. So many things can make a child feel unsafe. Because they're tiny. I could raise my voice around a child and they could not feel safe around me ever again because I'm bigger than them. And that's what their nervous systems are designed to do. So be so careful about the impression you're giving children as well. Like, I do my best and I've made my mistakes and it's okay. We also need to teach kids, like I said, humility, that mistakes are real. Adults make them every day, but we try to not repeat the same mistakes. Once we really do end up making a mistake, the point is to truly learn and move on so you never make that mistake again. That's the best. But if that's not happening, then we need help. And that's great too. Kids need to learn that. If you keep making the same mistake over and over and over and you're like, okay, I need help, amazing. Get a second and third, fourth, 100th opinion. Just talking to other people can make you smarter telepathically about a situation. Just open up the conversation with anybody, and all of a sudden the idea could literally hit you in the head and you didn't even hear what the person was saying. But the fact that you opened up allowed that conversation to actually happen and information to come in. That's happened to me so many times where I've tried to open up about something and before I even finish, the answer's already coming. And so I just kind of trail off and keep my privacy. But I will seek out answers if I know I can't figure it out. And that's humility, I would say. And that's my inner child's confidence as well. My inner child's confident enough to get a second opinion and to go out there and talk to other people about my ideas. Because my inner child wants my things to work. I want my ideas to go well. I want to be well received. All right, so let's go into the next code you guys brought on, which was balance and unity of sexual energies. So, sexual energies are both masculine and feminine, spiritually, I would say. The spirit of divine masculine and the spirit of divine feminine. That also can be discussed in electromagnetics as well. One force is magnetic, one force is electric. One force makes you hold still and wait, and one force makes you go without even hesitating. And we do that all day long. We're going in between our masculine and feminine energies. When you are sitting on the toilet, you don't want to be moving around, right? So naturally, you enter into your feminine energies and you begin. You're in a receptive mode and you're kind of calm and you're letting your body do things and you have to hold still, right? You really do. And that is a forced feminine energy moment of our days divinely. And then after that, and you're done, we instinctively want to move away from where we went to the bathroom. That's part of keeping us healthy because things that you no longer need have exited your body and you're moving away from those things so you don't keep re-ingesting those things. So that's your masculine, is naturally moving away or going towards the next thing. When you're putting a piece of food in your mouth, that's a masculine action. And then the chewing and the swallowing, that's a little bit more of a feminine activity, I would say, because you're now receiving the food. You can't put any more food in there. You'll suffocate. So you need to wait and, literally chew on it and let it digest. And let that parasympathetic system flow. Let those natural processes happen while you're not moving. So our life is a balance and a unification of those two forces. And when it comes to sexual energies, we can experience those in two ways. So feminine energies in the sexual nature, again, is a receptive energy. You're going to be receiving DNA and information from the environment in a way. And with that, the feminine creates life or creates something. They create something out of that. So in a way, every time you're receptive or feminine, you're receiving, but often the next energy is to create. So to respond or act, like in the masculine. With sexual energies of men, they tend to lead, and then I would say they have to act in order to deliver their genetic information. They have to act. They have to move to deliver. They have to be in their masculine to deliver their genetic information. And in a way, the feminine has to be in a state of receptivity to receive that genetic information. So in those extremes, in a moment of sexual interaction to create a person and create life, you need a male and a female, a masculine, feminine energy to merge and unify. And that is that moment where I would say there is that collapse in time, space, and a portal opens and another soul can populate out of there, out of the non-being into being realm. And that happens, I would say, with our ideas as well. So if you need to start a company or a brand and perhaps you're struggling to know how to gestate and receive the idea, gestate and birth this child or this brand, man or woman. And that shows that you have an imbalance of how the raw energies of masculine and feminine can work to create this life and create this idea for you. So if you're go too hard and you're just trying this and trying that and trying this and trying that and logging in and doing, but you're doing so much, you're not even able to take a phone call, but you're realizing like, my brand's not working, my company's not working, my idea's not launching. What am I doing wrong? You're in your masculine too much. You're not receiving anything back from all of your efforts. There's nothing, you haven't been able to receive any of what you've done. You're just spraying it everywhere. So, with your ideas or with your companies, if you've noticed that you're push, 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 and nothing's going on, and your instinct is to push and push and push longer, that you're heavy in your masculine energy. And we have to ask you to go into your feminine. You have to take some days off, even if it's just a couple hours off. You have to let the universe go into feminine energy for you so you can then receive the fruits of your labor, I would say, or receive the seeds that you've been spreading around, you know? So I would say if you're starting at square one and you know that you need to start a company or a brand and you don't know what to do, I would say going into your feminine would be number one. I believe that's how you receive the seed of life, or the idea is you in sexual energy and in the raw creative energy engagements. You have to go into your feminine and basically be the womb, become the womb of this, for this idea to come and land. You know what I mean? Into your womb, into your aura, from all the other masculine energy that's running around in our universe, basically. There's plenty of options. There's plenty of inspirations that could hit you in those moments. I've received so many ideas and I'm receiving them all the time. And I've had to learn even how to navigate my own feminine energy because I receive so many ideas into my womb and in my mind for what is to be done and what can be done. And I write this stuff down, and I have lots of things that I might end up just experimenting with to do myself because these ideas come to me so often. And if that's you, that's great. I know what to do with that type of energy too. So for sure, like I said, write it down. If you're a heavy feminine energy, write down all of the information that you're getting, the ideas, inspirations, whatever. Whatever's truly going to stick is going to stick no matter what. But it is going to be fun to even journal and look back and say, like, look at all the information that was coming in alongside this one golden idea. Does that serve that golden idea? Even in the future for your companies, look back on those notes when you need that next inspiration on where to take your company next. Go back to when you started it and see all the other ideas and information that came through then, for example. And I'm always stressing you guys to write your stuff down. I don't date my things, but I really want to start. It's smart to do that to help yourself navigate that masculine, feminine drives of your creative forces. So, like I said, getting into your feminine energy, it's going to the beach. It's going for a walk. It's taking a shower. It's basically when you're not able to do other stuff. That's how you know you're in your feminine energy. Like when you're sitting on a beach chair, you can't really do anything else. You're sitting there, the beach is happening. You're kind of at the mercy of the situation and there's nothing else being asked of you, right? That's the same when you're in the shower. You're standing in the shower. You can't be doing ideas and making moves and making phone calls and writing emails. In the shower, you have to receive the water and wash yourself. You have to be patient enough to get wet in the shower. You have to receive the water. And that's, you become in your feminine mode during those times. And for walks, like you can't be, some people try and dual task, they're walking and they're driving, but I would encourage you, if you have those moments, go and try and embrace your feminine, quiet everything, turn the music off, be in the quiet of your thoughts, and go on that walk or go on that drive to the grocery store and get your stuff, whatever it is. Utilize those feminine moments in your day and code it. Be like, in these feminine moments, I want to receive information about what I'm to do next with my raw inner child's creative energy. And then I would say the masculine will show up that you're looking for and match your feminine magnetic coded desire, if that makes sense. So if you're noticing that you can't receive ideas from the universe, then you have an imbalance and you need to engage your divine feminine more. And like I said, take more showers, get away from being busy. force yourself to do things like that. Self-care is a great time. And then that's when the ideas come in. That's when everything that you want from the masculine to show up, it'll show up when you embrace your feminine energies. That's what attracts the good masculine energy, is that good feminine magnetic energy. So you got to create those situations. I have to say this to a lot of people who desperately want their brand or want their mission to show up. And I'm like, have you been going to work every single day and busying yourself from every waking moment? Yeah, okay, then you can't get more. You can't receive. You're not in your feminine. So we have to force you into your feminine. That's why all of us end up doing retreats. A lot of us are drawn to doing retreats because we bring our audiences into somewhere where we can make them disengage the busyness of their life and engage being in a receptive place and recuperating and recovering and being in their feminine more. We've had to, mostly that's what retreats I feel like are, is a permission slip and almost a forced effort to create space for the feminine time that we all need. And once you understand your feminine needs and your masculine abilities, you will have a unity in your own raw inner child's creative energy. You will be comfortable working with men and women because you can also see that they know when to wait and they know when to act. When you can tell somebody doesn't know when to wait or act, that's an obvious sign that their lower chakras aren't connecting very good and they don't have a balance of their divine masculine, divine feminine. It's also probably a sign that their inner child's raw creative energy is under some type of attack, and probably also a sign that that person you're dealing with is potentially circumcised or heavily vaccinated or in some sort of dogmatic religion. Those are cues that they deregulate us. Those things will deregulate a person, and it's not your job to tiptoe around dysregulated people. If anything, we have to socially police each other and be like, "Hey, you're wildly dysregulated. I don't know if you know this, but you are wildly dysregulated, and you look very unwell, I want to say, and you're clearly strung out and anxious and stressed, and it's, you know, you're not going to be giving your best in this condition, and if you aren't taking the proper time to do the time off and look after yourself, then, you know, communally we're going to have to encourage you to do that, and we're going to have to start taking responsibilities out of your hands, because you don't want somebody sleep deprived operating heavy machinery, right? We just don't. Again, exhaustion is another sign that someone's sexual energies are imbalanced. Because again, if you have balanced feminine and masculine energies, you are replenished enough and available. You're replenished and you're available, I would say. And if you're not in the middle of something incredibly important, you're replenished and available. Unless, you've had to do some sort of crazy all-nighter. That's the only time you should really look tired ever. Is, oh, you were up all night. What a crazy scenario. Oh, how awful. Not like, oh, you were up all night every single night. You know what I mean? That's a deep sign that, again, the root chakra, sacral chakra are probably dysregulated and they're very ungrounded and they're just running on fumes as a person. And they have not grounded. They aren't being recharged by the earth or their inner child. Okay, next codes you brought in were reveal and heal. So revealing, I want to say, your sexual energies and is very subtle, I want to say. And that is the beauty of how evolved we are as a people, how modern times are, is how subtle and telepathic, I want to say, we reveal our charge, I want to say, of our raw inner child's creative energies, our overall charge. We reveal that just by being, like I said, you don't show up as so tired. You show up, you looking healthy, rested, clean, and available. That's how you reveal a healthy sexual energy charge, or I would say your sexual energies as an adult and a sexually mature being. That's how you would probably say that or present that. But for me, I'm more so talking about like the charge of your inner child is really, I would say, the core of who we are and what that energy source is. And revealing what your inner child is and what they like is also, again, your raw creative energies being displayed and, I want to say, communicated and advertised. So you can be relatable. I mean, people will relate to your brand or your art because their inner child also relates. For example, make all of your content and all of your work inner child friendly. If it's not inner child friendly, I would say you're going in the wrong direction because you can't get rid of the inner child. It doesn't go anywhere. So we have to always consider it. It's always there. And it's good because children are always here. We need to protect them and their dignity, not freak them out with stuff they can't handle. Let's make everything child friendly. That's our world should be. Our world should be completely child safe and friendly. And if you're seeing anything online or anywhere that is not that, do whatever you can to clean it up. Clean it up for the sake of your own inner child and the next person's inner child. Clean it up the best you can. That is how we are going to heal the world. So I've noticed this is happening on a subtle level with the online movie platforms that we have to like get memberships for to watch movies now instead of owning your own movies. But movies that aren't so great and aren't so awesome are being taken out of circulation, I want to say, on these platforms. And I want to say it's potentially towards and leaning towards the good. And again, protecting children from content and movies and things that just were designed, like we said in our last, I was saying on my last live, to be in a way an MK Ultra hit to mess with your lower chakras and the safety of your inner child. So anything that makes your inner child feel unsafe, that's totally unnecessary in our world, cancel it. Every TV series, manga, movie, fictional novel, like whatever it is, that's cultural candy, like basically unnecessary stuff and consumer products that are not suitable for our inner children, get rid of them, cancel them, end it. Because the creator of that product, their inner child, it's a scream for help and they're perpetuating their pain. Their inner child had some sort of trauma and now they're perpetuating their pain instead of getting the help they need. And so any creative project or product that you see that clearly is some type of twisted up, you can tell that their inner child is all twisted up. I want to say, do what you can, even send them a prayer and do what you can. Even find them on Twitter, find who they are, figure out what they're doing, see if there's anything you can do to help them. Again, send them a prayer, but do your part and don't just, I don't want to say don't entertain it. Like, don't be nice about it. Don't entertain the person trying to perpetuate their pain into the next generation of kids who have no idea what they're talking about and probably can't even relate to their trauma because it's, so specific and unique. You know what I mean? So we're getting rid of that. That's how we're healing the world, is we just have to be the janitors that know that, hey, that's not suitable for our inner children. So it's gone. It's gone. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're suing I think Virginia's governor is suing TikTok and potentially maybe all the other apps for having anything on there that's not appropriate for someone under the age of 12, like at all. So the pressure's on and we want that momentum to go. We all social media, all apps, all everything on your phone, everything in our world should be completely kid friendly. And we should never lose track of that purity. We naturally mature into a sexual being as we age, and that and intelligence increases, and our interpersonal relationships increase and become more complex. But if we can't even keep our inner children and the children safe enough to reach sexual maturity without poking and prodding and ripping apart their innocence, then no one's going to actually grow into a sexually mature adult. Like, no one's even going to be, then that's where we're at right now. A lot of it, like, people aren't even able to have children well into their lives because they were never properly parented, and their inner child never got to actually have and be recognized. So a person spends their whole adult life catering to their inner child to make up that time, and they basically, like, they eat themselves. So it's like that person's completely canceled themselves out, and they may never create something or even adopt an animal. Like, they won't even help anyone. They'll be completely selfish and try and repair their inner child their whole life. And people are doing this and not even realizing they're doing it, especially the circumcised population. And it's weird, is I really don't know what we're going to do about that population and what potential mental disability that group of people are having. And it's not even their fault. It was their parents that perpetrated against them. Their parents and their priest or their doctor did something to them, and now it's like they're not getting any sort of support, or they took something away, but they didn't give you anything else. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out what that is. I think the direction is genuine divine healing abilities that we are coming online with, and the actual mentality and intention to heal from these situations and bringing it to the conscious mind and making it a priority of your life is all I can really ask. And you guys have that responsibility. I mean, you come into this world, you have your contracts, it makes you a certain person, all of your experiences, and then you enter into adulthood and you become a creator being fully, and you act out based off of all that data you're given, and instead of healing a lot of the time first. And the healing stage of our lives is very interesting, and we want to reduce the amount of time you need to heal by stopping messing with you your whole childhood and depleting you and devaluing you. And like, our whole society is about to flip to be again actually care what it is the children are carnating or coming in and saying, and what it is that they feel like we need to do. Like, that collective seems to be the most ignored collective, even though they're the closest to source and probably would have the most accurate information for us, versus people who have basically calcified into, like, sexless things. Like, they don't even have any sexual energy flowing. They have no creative energy flowing through their bones. They can't even move. Like, they're basically corpses. So watch out for people who look like they don't have any mojo flowing through their veins. Then they don't. Like, it's pretty easy to tell just by looking at someone who has mojo flowing through the veins and who does not. It's actually very easy. We've all been gaslit into not judging people by the book, not by judging the book by its cover. It's like, actually, I'll judge that cover, I'll read the first chapter, middle chapter, last chapter, and still all I'm seeing is zeros and ones, or like I'm seeing ash or dust. Like, there's nothing there. There's no fertile soil in that person. And that's the thing too. It's like, not only do they look like they can't receive a good idea and aren't receptive to anyone, they also look like they're incapable of doing anything physically for anyone else too. Like, if you're seeing somebody who looks like they can't receive anything, can't receive ideas, not even a compliment, then just, you know, That's stay away from that. That's death, walking, talking death. It's not, it's anti-life. So and they need healing, or they need to bury themselves. Like, I don't know, become the fertilizer, like they're done, It's bizarre. And I think they're trying to make laws too. So those walking, talking zombies and statues that are still trying to force our culture in any direction. All those guys are no longer going to just have a job and a free pass the rest of their lives. Like, that's all about to change. Like all of these mummies and corpses that are walking around lifeless, they're gone. And you're going to be able to sort them out much easier because your confidence in your own sexual and vital energy is going to be there. And you'll know, like, does that person have any vital energy like you do? Not even close. Okay, then they shouldn't be making decisions for your future. Exactly. Okay, so let's do a collective clearing right now. Real quick. So one of the easiest ways to clear is with a clap. I'm warning you, I'm about to clap. We clear planet Earth of all stagnant energies that no longer serve the inner child's raw creative energy. Dear God, we clear the collective of all that no longer serves it. We clear the collective of all of its fear. We clear the collective of all of its lies. May there only be truth. Clear, 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 clear. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a lot of rituals where baptisms and people hitting themselves with water to clear away their sins has been happening the last few weeks. So if you guys haven't baptized yourself in any sort of ritualistic way yourself, just to clear yourself, like if you really feel like you need to be that serious about your trajectory and in your life, and you need to clear out all the regrets, all of the shame, all of the mistakes that you've ever made. Just remember all of those things you've endured. If you've learned from them and are making better choices, then all of those things you endured were for a good reason. And that all you have to do now is do the good things. And so you can clear yourself with a baptism, dunk yourself completely underwater in your tub, and come out clean. And carry on. Because I promise you are doing better than so many other beings who desperately need to be baptized in such a way. You're doing great. Okay, so knowledge and inspiration is coming up as the next code. We have knowledge and inspiration when it comes to sexual energies. Like I was saying, becoming in your feminine energy allows you to receive knowledge from the and wisdom from the universe in whatever form. You receive information in your feminine energies. You're magnetic, you're lounging, you're relaxed, you're bored. It's like people hate boredom, but that's a sign that there's a feminine energy happening and that you should just receive it. And even like, I want to say, like, get comfortable, wriggle into it even deeper, embrace it even more. Do a beautiful bath, lounge on a chair in your backyard, look at the stars, float in the pool, really just become feminine and relaxed. Enjoy those boredom moments, because guess what? The masculine's going to come in and demand something of you. The phone's going to ring, the dog's going to bark. You know what I mean? I'm there. I live that life. And the next thing demands your energy. And before you're even thinking, you're already there and acting. And that's your masculine health responding. So if you're lacking inspiration, I want to say that's the key, is to get into your feminine energy. And you'll stay in that energy for as long as you need to replenish yourself to be ready to use any creative, raw inner child energy, and masculine out something, create something, act on something. Overcoming shame, religious upbringings. Okay, so I just want you guys to know that the religious leaders in your lives, maybe, and who have written these books and perpetuated the church, there is a whole other religion out there that believes that taking over the roles and jobs of pastors and preachers and religious text writers and leaders of the church is a part of that a different religion, is to infiltrate as a leader, pretending to be of one church, but actually being of another. There's a whole church about infiltrating and pretending to be good. And there is a very high likelihood that the people who taught you anything in any sort of official church building were actually not there under honest pretenses. They were already pretending to be something they weren't. And they do this in order to keep the honest and true leaders out of a job and to continue to distort and confuse the messages of spirituality and at large. So all I'm saying is that do not feel ashamed about what any sort of religious preacher or leader said to you that maybe impacted you or made you feel less than divine, less than perfect, less than less than inspired to engage your inner child and your raw creative energy as a person, where your ideas would not feel received from. If you're getting advice from someone who wouldn't even listen to your ideas or about you at all and doesn't care about you, don't listen to anything they have to say, I want to say. And there's also, like I said, a very high likelihood that a lot of you were taught by people who were pretending for the sake of getting accolades in a whole other religion and cult that was literally trying to hijack spirituality on the earth. So you don't need to feel ashamed of anything they said, because those people are evil and they were playing with evil, and their true purpose in your life and in that position was meant to disempower you and make you believe something that's not true about your perfect divine blueprint, your raw inner child creative energy. You are perfectly allowed to completely disengage every single religion on this planet. You are completely allowed to disengage every single religion on this planet. If you have not tried that yet, I would encourage you to try it if it sounds like a good idea. Because, like the Messiah did not belong to any religion. Religions did their very best to disavow, and I would say explain away, the Messiah and anything that was uncontrollable by anything that was true, raw inner child creative energy. They don't want that. So you're allowed to completely disassociate yourself from any religion on earth and join the collective of heart-centered mystics that engage spirituality on the entire spectrum of potential that the earth creates in order to get the whole roundabout picture of every religion, every bit of history, and in order to engage from a new perspective and become more intelligent. Disengage one religion, learn all of them, learn what they've done, and learn the impression they've left on people historically, which is usually not a great impression. In a way, religion may be a machine of evolution. It's meant to break you out of groupthink and create a charge within to be an individual and an individual spiritual being. Great note. So the original sin in the Garden of Eden is a lie and a story that is meant to actually describe an atom and its structure. A rib of an atom is an electron. That's what goes around atoms. And in the middle of an atom are protons and neutrons. And then within those are smaller muons and quarks and even smaller. So the rib of an atom is an electron because that's what goes outside of the atom. And so that whole story, trying to discuss what an atom is, has somehow been twisted and successfully made to devalue women on a great level. And the original sin has been twisted. There were beings that sinned by coming into the garden and taking it over and trying to teach and take from what was going on here naturally. And it wasn't a match, and it caused a lot of problems. And that insertion is what a vaccination is. You shouldn't be inserting and messing with the temple or with the garden that you were born with. You know what I'm saying? I believe that's what was the original idea, was that snake venom or an injection, you know what I mean, is unnatural in the Garden of Eden. It shouldn't be done. There is nothing outside of the self that you need. Everything is within. There's no greater medicine to inject into yourself that God didn't give you. You know what I mean? And again, meant to disempower women. And any religion that even has tempted to, or even nudged or hinted at the fact that women are not equal or as sacred as men, that is toilet. That is complete garbage. It doesn't have legs to stand on. It is complete nonsense. And so again, those are all being canceled. None of that is perpetuating into the new world because it's a complete lie. All lies are being revealed because we're so grounded and rooted, and we're so in tune with our inner child raw creative energy that anything that doesn't resonate with us from those very primal and sacred places, if it doesn't resonate, then it's garbage. It does not resonate with the soul of Mother Earth and with our ability to be creator beings. We are Mother Earth creator beings. She's got 5 fingers with us. She can do so much through our bodies. We are her, we're her eyes, her ears, her hands, her feet. We are the stewards of the earth. We are her in a form that allows her to act on infinitesimal levels on anything that she needs to make sure that her world is good. We are her body. Anything that wants to say otherwise is not from here and is trying to infiltrate into Earth's aura, into her dignity, her honor. That's your mother's egg, you know. That was so well protected that here you are. Your mother's egg by her body was protected so well that now here you are. We are protecting the mother's egg, our planet Earth. We're like the white blood cells of planet Earth. We can clean something so tiny and something huge. We are her fantastic, perfect little humanoid forms. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. She truly, you're in a way made in her image. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. And I know there's a lot of talk of we're made in his image and in God's image. And yes, we are made by the earth. And she has been totally disregarded in a lot of the religions and ripped out of any sort of mention that there is any sort of sentience on the planet you're born on. It's all put outside of the self. And again, injecting inward to the self instead of emanating out from the self. Anything that's truly emanating out from you, when your heart is pure and your chakras are aligned, that should be something that's also in the will and divine will of our planet. It should all line up. God's will, the planet's will, your will should all be coming out and moving through you perfectly and without any hesitation. So anything that's mixing that up or in between, we need to clear that out of the way. Okay, so we're going to harness this energy of your inner child's raw creativity to birth your next project. It's Capricorn season, like I said. This is the perfect time. So first of all, since we've already kind of gotten on the topic and I have you in that realm, what is it that's coming to mind right now? Write it down, please. Date it. What is it that's coming to mind right now that you want to make a brand to promote? What is it that you want to promote in our mutual earth bubble? What is coming up through your feet and into your root and into your sacral? What is it that wants to be here? What would make you feel more secure and more grounded and more alive by representing here in this earth bubble? What is it that you really want to see more of? A great piece of advice is, whenever you're feeling like someone needs to do something, you realize that you're that person that needs to do that thing, because no one's going to do it as well as you. You're seeing the need and you know how to fill it. That's you. That's all you. Clearly, no one else is getting that. So make sure that you're also there and doing your job and doing what you feel needs to be done. So what is that? What is it that you want to see more on the world? Like, what is it that you want to promote more? You want to promote blue unicorns? All right, let's get you some blue unicorn everything and make sure that no matter when everyone's seeing you anywhere, that they see blue unicorn energy and their energy infinitely gets added to Earth just like you wanted. What's another thing? What are we trying to add more to the world right now through you? Like, we want to know, is it the most comfortable beach chairs ever made? Because when you're the most comfortable you ever can be on a beach is when you can be the most spiritually engaged with the energies of the beach. So like the most spiritually engaging beach chair you could possibly invent, because you remember it and they don't have them here, so you need to make them here. And so you can actually enjoy yourself on the beach like you remember you used to way back in your genetic lineage, wherever you came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something in there that you know that the world needs. Like, that's the beauty of having your sexual energies healthy, is knowing what kind of mojo the world is still missing, because you see it and it's lacking. You're like, oh man, this area needs some more of this, and that's what will get the mood going. That's what will get the party going. Like, we're having a planetary wide party and celebration for world peace this year. Like, it's happening, but there's a belief system that's kind of stuck, I want to say, in our collective, that feels like there will never be peace, so there always has to be a next conflict. We have to literally teach that belief that that's false. There needs to be a falseness there. And no, actually, we can have world peace. It is totally possible, and we're plenty smart enough. And celebrating it will only promote it and continue to reaffirm the belief that world peace is possible and that it's happening. I mean, a lot of the time, I think about this a lot. Like, there's hours in the day, every day. There's time. Most of our days are actually pretty peaceful on a planetary wide thing. Most of our time is actually peaceful, or we'd all be dysregulated and dying off. Like, we have to keep the peace here most of the time. There is a deep effort always balancing this planet and trying to keep it balanced so it's peaceful and everyone's nervous system can have sleep, because mostly everything on this planet sleeps. So there needs to be at least enough time for everybody to get a good night's sleep every night, and there has to be that much peace in the world to continue that going. So as many antennas and arrays and satellites and blah, 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 making frequency, there needs to be enough peace for everyone to sleep still, or else none of that's going to work. So just dig into that more. Think about those moments of peace, open up, widen those times. I hope that helps you see that. Trevor says that he would like to see more public displays of affection in general in our mutual playground here and in our earth. Great. So how are you going to promote that? That is goes with the 7 virtues and would empower other people's inner children. How can you do that in a way that will empower the raw inner child creative energy of everyone who will engage that thing that you're presenting? Do it in a way that'll truly, instill that in your audience. That, I think that should be the goal. Like, that's where we should all come from. First thing you need to do, I would say, to get your brand going is choose where you want to focus your energy. Like, where do you want to display this creation that you have? It's tricky to pick because there has been a battle online of which social media is getting what attention and where can you actually grow a business online. And I know that's hard, but that is going to be getting easier soon. So right now, if you have no progress, you don't know where you're going to start, do everything on paper now and start drafting up what you want the vibe of your brand and of your project to do and be, who you want it to reach, how many people you want it to reach, when you want it to reach them, what impression you want to make, and then workshop that. Get ready. Launch it out there and then see what the reactions are and then keep working on it. Have no fear. Have no fear with being a lifelong workshop. Like, my Ascension Diaries channel is a lifelong workshopping space for me. I approach every topic I want. I talk for it, whatever length that I want about whatever I want. And people still keep coming back and they text me and they're like, amazing stream today. You said this, this, and this, and I did this. And I just keep going because I'm getting positive response from people, and I'm giving out what I want and I'm getting back what I want. So everything's working well for me in a creative, feminine, and masculine way. I'm giving you and seeding the love that I want to see in the world, and I'm receiving back that same love that you're seeding out in the world in response to what I've done. And it's a beautiful back and forth situation. So let's focus. your sexual energies right now. If you need this, meditate right now. Dear God, I focus my inner child's raw creative energy towards the creation that will suit everyone on earth best at this time and is destined to be born through me and my inner child's divine blueprint. You can even go and say, I wish for this creation to heal me and my whole genetic lineage. So everything that you're going to be creating with that raw inner child creative energy is not only going to serve you and be perfectly coded from your divine blueprint, but it's also going to serve throughout time and space your whole genetic lineage. And that is I would say, the purpose and the proper use of your sexual creative energies is to have those intentions behind them. I mean, all these generations of people that made you, doing something to honor them and make their lives easier throughout time is a beautiful thing. And we are capable of that. And I want you to code that into your brand and code that into your work and know that not only are you doing it for you, but you're doing it for the next 7 generations and you're doing it in honor of the last 7 generations. Because that's fortifying. You're not by yourself. You're not by yourself out here. I'm here too, by the way. I'm also here and I'm totally going to understand what you're trying to do because I'm doing it. But there's all of these ancestors and spirit guides. And honestly, your own higher self knows its divine blueprint. It knows why it's here. It never forgets. So when you meet spiritual people in our community and they're like, have you embraced and engaged your higher self yet? You don't know what they're talking about. You're going to be at a deficit creatively because that is the next step, is literally being able to engage and align with your higher self, which to me is your version of you that's outside of time and space, quantum you, that knows what you're going to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing, and what's not a good idea because it has access to that space, the timeless space. All you have to do is make the intention. I wish to connect with my higher self, work in unity with my higher self. I wish to be informed whenever is necessary from that quantum understanding outside of time and space. I wish to be informed properly by my higher self on what it is I should continue pursuing and what it is that I should be weary of. And that's the confidence too in yourself. You have to have confidence in yourself and your higher self that exists outside of time, that you're going to all be on the same page and exact your divine blueprint in this lifetime using your inner child's raw creative energies. I hope I repeated that enough in this workshop that it's kind of in there, but I know people don't talk like this. Have you ever heard someone say, orient your inner child's raw creative energy before? Have you ever heard someone say that? I hope you've heard that concept in some capacity on your spiritual journey so far. I have heard it in different ways, and I've heard many people try to teach about this in certain language and ways, and I'm attempting to do it now today. And I hope that, hey, maybe your brand is helping people orient their inner child's raw creative energy. And you're going to be doing talks like this every week. And you're going to begin attracting people who really just need someone to believe in them, to be confident in their inner child's raw creative energy, to honor it as sacred. It's uncoded, it's raw potential. It's before any tainted worldly experiences. If you can tap into that true, pure reservoir of energy, like I said, all of the things of the world that maybe have tainted you or made you afraid, those things can't touch this energy. That energy was designed to make this world better. With humility, charity, chastity, gratitude, temperance, patience, and diligence. Humility, charity, chastity, gratitude, temperance, patience, and diligence. We're okay with making mistakes. We're okay with sharing. We're okay with the idea that we are to be wholesome and chaste with our energies. We're okay with needing to be gracious and speak in words of gratitude in order to manifest what we want. Thank you, God, for giving me this idea. And thank you, God, for giving me the resources and help I need to actualize this idea. Being thankful for what it is you're trying to manifest is the best way to manifest it. Use that language. Thank you, God, for releasing all that no longer serves me. Thank you, God, for replenishing me from all of the heartbreak and the loss and the fear that I experienced. Thank you, God, for replenishing me. Be grateful to the people who love you and help you every day. They say pleases and thank yous in the home, with your staff, with your chat GPT, with your pets. If you aren't saying please, thank you, I love you, and excuse me to those people, then you are not honoring each other, in my opinion, as true divine counterparts. You would say, I'm sorry, please, thank you, and excuse me if you ran into Buddha or Jesus or Mary, probably. You'd be on your best behavior. Don't let that falter. The behavior, your best behavior, that should be your only behavior. There should be nothing else. There is no excuse for anything other than your best behavior from now on. You must live by example. And the people who maybe hurt you, don't mirror their activities. Show them and just do better. Show them up. Do things you know they could never do. Be kinder and more helpful than anyone ever was to you. If people didn't believe in you as a child like me, and they didn't think you were that smart, or they thought something was wrong with you, you don't have to grow up and be a grumpy person. You can grow up and be like, I need to hold space for children to be different from adults who are clearly broken. You know what I mean? And who are infants in their minds and can only work in schools with children because it's the only people they can outsmart and feel good around. Like, if you're noticing a teacher is getting anything out of bullying or bossing around children, that person is not an adult in their mind. They're a child. They did not properly grow up, and they should have no responsibilities over children. They need to be in therapy. They need to be in therapy, and they need to reveal what it is that happened to them in their childhood that caused them to basically disregard human life after that point. We have to be more strict overall. Excellent. So let's move into the comments again while we ground in. I'm going into my feminine now. I just masculine. Now I'm going to feminine and receive your guys' comments in this workshop in order to, again, create something beautiful together. The label of agoraphobia hugely described me the last few years. I felt unsafe, super anxious, and frazzled. Yeah, I agree. That agoraphobia, and that's the fear of being able to leave your house, I'm pretty sure, right? That's from a very disabled root chakra energy, and that was on purpose. And women especially are being threatened with our lives because all they're talking about is people running around kidnapping and tormenting women who have been let into this country to run amok. It is actually good instincts, women, to not be vulnerable right now and wandering around in the streets. It's also, all of you, not a good idea to go to public gatherings because, again, the threats of terrorism are really high right now. You just have to be smart. Yeah. Oh, you can't go to I can't go to the Tucson Gem Show this year. Oh, well, it's better than something horrible happening. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. And I'm listening to my instincts. And that's the hanging man. Like, you may not be getting everything you want, but you're withholding for a bigger reward in the future. And our big reward will be coming in these next few months when things start to process along and we start purifying and clearing, again, clearing the world and raising the standards with the use of our mutual, raw, creative inner child energy combined. Because what do our inner children want? They want safety and they want to love and they want to be free. So let's fortify that for ourselves. I bought a big red paper flower yesterday for this purpose of bringing in more root chakra energy into your life. So yeah, if you are dealing, like I said, like Coral is talking about, and look in her profile picture, she has a lot of purple and crown chakra energy, right? So let's bring in the reds. Let's bring in a big red paper flowers all over your house. Bring red into your home. Sleep in it. Get red pajamas. I'm literally wearing red pants, red shirt. I've got oranges and yellows and greens and blues on here. I wore the thing to help embrace the energies I'm talking about today. So if you're lacking certain energies in certain places, even if you're finding like it's hard to love other people, fill your home with green and red. I would say red is also a color of love, and pink is also really good energy of that. So like red, greens, and pinks, really great for love. Like great advice, you guys. Okay, so what if we feel unsafe leaving the house by ourselves and cannot relax? I'm hypervigilant state going on 2 years. Well, because you're smart. Honestly, you may be just too smart. And a lot of people with anxiety are actually quite heavy thinkers and mental people. Like I'm saying, you may have a lot of energies up in your crown and in your head. Clearly, by your profile picture, you're literally displaying that to all of us. You may not know that, but that's what we are representing. It shows in a way that you're ungrounded. Your lower chakra energies, your connection to earth is not as in depth. But I'm saying, what is going to happen literally in our culture on the 20th, in a few hours? They're going to be changing the literal laws of our planet and how we're going to be allowed to operate. And all of your unconscious and subconscious and our lower chakras are about to be informed on a planetary level by what executive orders are going to be going through in these next few weeks. And then we will be able to orient in our reality based off of the new structure that has been, proposed. Of course, the proposed structure, if the raw inner child creative energy of Mother Earth instantly rebuttals against that, there may be some adjustments that need to happen still. But we're all about to figure out what the new rules are to operate around in, and then we'll see how that makes us feel, how we're going to engage that. But it likely is going to help a lot of people all of a sudden feel safer on a planetary level because of ceasefires that are probably going to be happening. And planetary world peace efforts, which they are commencing. I have been saying it for the last year that's just what's been coming through. I've been on councils and I've been in dream time and I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing it work through. I'm seeing it happen. I'm just telling you what I see. We are going to feel better, but we have to be that an initiation process. We have to put in that intention. We are grounded. We are engaged and have an understanding and know how to utilize our sexual energies and our creator being force, our raw creator being force. Not only in our environment, but to mold our environment, because it's not done. We're not done molding, I'm assuming. And if you feel people instinctively want to be reactive and critical about the changes that are happening because they're more comfortable feeling reactive and critical instead of even considering the changes and maybe utilizing them for their benefit, instead of just jumping on whatever critical idea comes up to continue to try and beat down the progress. I would say I would avoid being on the beat down team and instead be on the cheer team and join the momentum, because when you're in the momentum, you can actually steer it better than when you're opposing the momentum. So join the momentum, and then you can steer it from inside. I literally posted a whole stack of memes about how the Americans and TikTok are going over to the Chinese app Red Note, making content and absorbing content and cross-pollinating those two spaces. People are taking a situation and they're mutating it, and there's many options of mutating, but it's only creating a mutual experience. All these mutations and reactions is supposed to start making us more on the same page and as a team, I feel like. And that's kind of the direction we're going. Any sort of attempts to separate us into different idea groups are going away. We don't want to be separating ourselves anymore. We want to be recombining all of our beautiful uniqueness, I want to say. I haven't been wearing that much red, but you're using your red light at night. I also have a red light for at night and in the mornings. Coral is in the UK. Yeah. So Europe is going to be going through a lot of pressure in the transformational process as well. And in the UK, they're literally hunting people in the streets, women especially. So it's not unfounded. I think you're instinctively reacting even properly to the situation. You maybe don't be so hard on yourself. Protecting ourselves. Us women have had to protect ourselves extra since 2020, like super extra. A lot of women have had to get really smart about that. You're not we're all doing it. We know. The women are warriors. We're undefeated warriors of the whole multiverse. So we have that DNA in there, and we know when trouble's coming. We know, and we know how to avoid it and smooth it over as well, the best we can. We know how to not engage trouble so it doesn't mutate and explode or feel justified to exist. Even you ignore something long enough, it'll just die. I do that with headlines. Even I just ignore some and I watch them die. They don't matter. You're right. The manager or the manger story devalues the role of healthy masculinity. Yeah, it completely takes out the fact that a man and a woman can create a beautiful, divine, Christ conscious being, in my opinion. And it also took away the story took away his wife. Like, it took away his sacred connection and his sexual sacredness and unity with his wife. It got interrupted. It's, in a way, she wasn't like, they weren't able to share in their sexual energy together. That was taken away. In a way, it was replaced. It was usurped. It's not right. I'm sure it's done something wrong to people's minds, and even men have been impressioned by that in a way that I can't even fully verbalize yet. But I hope you guys can help me really dig into the potential damage that that story caused. Most circumcised people I know have an unreasonable amount of shame and guilt. Yeah, completely not on their own. Like, that has nothing to do with them. And it could possibly be due to the lack of brain development that they had from that surgery, because it cuts off a nerve ending, and and some blood vessels sometimes too, and it causes the body to actually change itself. It does the damage. And yeah, no need to be ashamed or guilty. There is a very honorable role in being a man and being fully actualized. Growing up into a man and the pride of actually surviving long enough to grow into a healthy, strong man. Like every little boy wants to grow up into a healthy, strong man because that's awesome. You see healthy, strong men around and you're like, yeah, like those are your heroes. You grow up and be a big, strong, healthy man for the sake of the young boys around and show them the way. Show them the way. It's the most fulfilling thing of growing into an adult is to turn around and show the kids and help them out. Whatever it is that they think is cool at the time, be there for them. It's a beautiful gift of the fact that you survived into adulthood, that you get to then engage children and help them out in their process of growing to adulthood too. I wonder what the sealed narrative is at the Vatican. Yeah, all the things sealed up in the Vatican are to be open and transparent. Every single thing should be open and transparent and in a public access library, online, everything. Every single museum, every single sacred and hidden object on our earth should actually just go back into an inventory and be open, be allowed to teach its lessons purely, no longer be hidden. But yeah, we're using, if you guys don't have a brand and you don't have a company and there's nothing you're not sure what to do with all of your adulthood, protect and stop circumcision. Whatever it is you can. And of course, all the other stuff that's not good happening. But if one thing we can stop and we need momentum to, gentlemen, dudes, men, please. This is it. Like we're the boys, like you yourself as a baby needs you. Yourself as a baby. All of our babies need you. The babies need you guys. Men, you know we're needed now. You're needed for the babies. They're being poked with immunizations, they're having blood drawn, and they're being circumcised. And all of that needs to stop. All invasions of a baby's body need to end, and you guys need to defend that and stand up for them. That's what you were designed to do. And we, as the women, were designed to survey the situation and let you know the best use of your direct and powerful masculine energy. We're here to receive and figure out all the problems that are happening and receive the information. And then we go, hey, there's a child that's about to be taken to their bris over here. What are you going to do? I'm going to intervene. Like, what are we going to do? We have to protest every doctor's office, every hospital. Spread the word, make it, at least put it on a shirt, make a bumper sticker, speak about it regularly, change the morphology of our whole hologram to make it so that is never happening. It does it desensitizes everything, and we don't want desensitized beings because then they become sociopaths and psychopaths because they can't feel. I'm resetting to my divine blueprint. Excellent. But yeah, thank you, Nikia. Thank you. The original sin. Yep. I would like to see more public displays of affection. Excellent. Instagram removed square grid and now my entire branded feed is ruined. I saw that. I swear they're going to have to change it back because a lot of people made their Instagrams specifically for that grid of squares. And now it's all, I think, meant to encourage us only to make reels from now on. But thankfully, I didn't go that out of my way to make my brand and my Instagram look like that because something in me knew. I was like, I think that might be a waste of my time. But hey, I get a win sometimes. It happens. But my Instagram's getting like 2 views a post lately, so it doesn't really matter anyways. We go through it. Sometimes I get like 100 views on a post for a couple weeks, and then I say something or post one thing in a stack, and the algorithm hates me for like a couple months, a year. It's fine. I'm here to defend the children. I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to say what I need to say no matter what. Because if things go unsaid, children get hurt. And I can't sleep with myself. I cannot sleep at night if I'm going to hesitate at all when it comes to any code I get about protecting us, protecting our children, being better overall. So I just share it like you guys know how I share. It's just flooding out of me, the information. And some people think it's way too chaotic and can't keep up. I don't care, because every little bit you do get from this river, may it hydrate you in some capacity. Take as much as you need. But the river is here to flow for millions of people. And it hasn't reached nearly all the people it needs to reach yet. I'm looking forward to the day that opens up. And that might be this new social media that's coming. We'll see. Is it going to be red note? I don't think so. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll know, because my job is to flood every social media area with light. That's what I want to be. I'm here to flood light into every social media area that I feel guided to. I don't want there to be any doubts. Tucson is the biological convergence of flu season every year. Have gotten so sick living there at the Gem Show time. Yeah. And yes, good points also. Good points, Christian. It is a pure crime. So there is crimes against humanity happening to our children on a daily basis in the doctor's offices, hospitals, and homes, and synagogues, and like churches all around the world under some sort of fake importance. And we cannot ascend while that's going on all around us. We can't, in my opinion. We have hit a ceiling. We have hit a wall, and we must level up. We can't, there's nowhere else to go. Like, that's it. The wall is circumcision. And the glass ceiling is circumcision, and we need to stop. Like, it's literally insane to even think about that practice is happening right now. So do whatever you can. Insert it into your prayers, insert it into the Earth's core and her genetic code that this can never happen. And anyone who even tries to get close to performing this act on a child, may they spontaneously combust. Because, there's no hope for them, probably. Let's just reset those people. I've had enough. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I don't think that there is another minute to waste. So in my opinion, may all beings who have the intention or are going to act against a child spontaneously combust in the safety of their own aura and not concern anyone else with their flames, But that seems to me like the proper direction. That may seem harsh, but so is mutilating children. Way harsher, actually. So this is the easy way out. It's actually an easy way out. And when you come back, you won't be circumcised, because we'll have stopped that. So it's a win-win. Do not perpetuate the trauma that was given to you. Never perpetuate the trauma you were given. It stops with you. All of it stops with you. The trauma stops with you. The pain, that stops with you. The disease, it stops with you. It stops with us. So many things are about to stop and end with us because we demanded it with our spirit. And we can do so even more to lock it in and make sure. And so I would encourage you these next few days to go into meditation and prayer with your sexual energies, your creation, your raw creator energies, and write what it is you want to make sure it is creating in this reality through you and with every waking breath that you have. What is it that you want to be creating in this world? What changes and shifts do you want to see now? Create it now. Please insert that in. Write those things down right now. This is the time. This is the window. We literally only have a few hours to jump to the timeline where everything that you want is going to be installed via executive orders. Like I've been saying, you can literally, it's about to happen where things are about to get signed. You can literally morph what it is that's going to be signed in with your intention. This is the window of opportunity and permission on a planetary level for things to change. We're all allowing this permission slip. So what is it going to be? What's going to be on the permission slip? You are going to put it there. You are spiritually, energetically, quantumly putting that there for your generational DNA, divine blueprint, raw creative inner child energy. I feel it so strongly that that is what we have the potential to do right now. So do it with the 7 virtues: humility, charity, chastity, gratitude, temperance, patience, and diligence, and do us all proud. I will be there when we're going to see what are in these executive orders, and I'll know that you guys were a part of that. We're already all on the same page. Positive role models for what it is to be and become a father, what it is to be and become a mother, and what it is to be and become a child. Those pure, sacred archetypes, may they be perfectly enshrined and understood in the core of Earth and all of her creation. Thank you, God. Thank you for this workshop. Thank you for all of my friends and family who are on the same page about this. Thank you for the changes that I already know are going to be in changing our lives and improving our quality of life and unlocking our abilities and our capacities and our divine blueprint, as well as the capacities and abilities of our inner child. Unlocking raw creation energy from the grid, from the liars and the cheaters and the inverters. All of that returns to you and is utilized diligently. I love you all very much. Thank you for the honor to be leading this guardian training workshop today. And all of the months I've done, we meet every 18th to do a workshop. And I want to say from myself and as a psychic, I'm sensing that next month's scenario and situation for all of us is going to be a little bit different because we do and are evolving. We're evolving into the new game. So even on my end at Ascension Diaries, I'm going to evolve. I already know it's coming. I already know kind of what I'm going to do. That's what this workshop was about, was again, to utilize and focus that energy. What are we going to do with this energy? How are we going to evolve next? We feel it coming. Let's channel that in, write it down, and be on the same page with ourselves and really utilize that potential and that opportunity to make a change and up-level our lives. It's here. It's coming. I'm excited. I feel confident. I feel at peace. I feel grounded. I feel honored, like I said. And I'm tired of feeling like some optimistic, completely unrealistic being. I'm really excited for everything to catch up with me and everything I've been shown and seen, and really ready for it to all catch up and become public knowledge in the next few days here. I'm really ready for that. I'm very ready and excited for the collective to catch up a bit. I have this really big feeling of giddiness coming up in my chest. And a welling of tears, like it's coming up through my body right now, the excitement coming right through my solar plexus. The will and divine will are one. I just want to cry. It's just so exciting. I feel very good things about what's happening. And I know it's been a long fight, and there's going to be people who want to fight fight it. And like I said, they just need to sleep on it. They're going to be okay. So much really great progress. Just crying 'cause the information's coming in, but like so much really great progress has been done. And because of all of your concerns and prayers and adjustments that you've made from 2020 is programmed this next shift. And you can take responsibility for the progress that's going to happen and feel proud of yourself and know that you participated in what you did mattered to make a change for the better for our world. You're going to know that you took part in that. And if you don't know that yet, put an intention in now. Like I said, you have a couple minutes. You've got 5 minutes. You got 30 minutes. Like the meme says. Sorry, I'm losing eyesight because tears mixing with debris on my eyelashes. Anyways, emotions coming in, authentic, real energy coming through me. Just I hope to validate that I feel very much that there is very positive changes coming and are already happening, and that we are going to become more grounded and secure and reestablished again with our raw divine blueprint. And you guys are all just going to blossom if you haven't yet and bloom. And I can't wait. Like, so excited for the conditions for all of you to grow, to be here. And I'm going to, defend that space and protect it. Because we worked so darn hard to create it. Seriously. We gave it our all. We did it. We did it. Another wonderful workshop. Thank you again. And if you're rewatching this, I hope to see you on another live stream where I can actually talk to you live and get your feedback live. It's such an honor to meet you and be a part of a community. It's really great. It's a good life. And for the fun finale of this, to kind of end on a light note, is a question which can gauge, I want to say, your humor and sexual maturity level, I would say, how you answer this question. Now, I want you to answer this question creatively if you can, but if you notice that your mind goes in a sexual direction right away, just think about it. But let's try and answer this question with a non-sexual answer. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Answer my next question with a non-sexual answer. And then that'll be the end of our workshop, okay? The question is, and I'll give you some examples. What is your favorite position? That's the question. What is your favorite position? Non-sexual answers. For example, one of the answers could be quarterback. Another example of an answer to that question was your favorite position, the fetal position. Another answer can be funny. You matter, sense of humor show up here too. How funny is your answer going to be? What is your favorite position? Another example could be first position, which that in my mind is the ballerina brain in my head. Just similar. First position is the first position of ballet. And that's another thing lodged in my head back in the ballet days. So I'm just curious, what's your favorite position? Funny answers only. I thought fetal position was hilarious when I heard this. So this was one of those people walking around in the streets doing interviews, being like, what's your favorite position? Hoping to get a sexual answer and kind of play on a sexually themed conversation, which tends to get more views. And we've seen that. But the guy who answered said his favorite position was quarterback. And then he said, they're like, no, what's your favorite position? He was like, oh, fetal position. And I laughed so hard. So I brought that into today's workshop as a way to almost desexualize our language as well. and in a way almost deliberately desexualize our language. So if someone is trying to get you to go in a sexual direction, just don't go there. And just it'll annoy people because a lot of people they linger in the world of sexual depravity, and it's their whole personality and all their language, but you were going to force them that, or at least show them that you're not going to match them or engage them in that kind of language. So play with that. Play with it in other ways if you can. Even people who are dating, play with it. Show how clever you really are. That is another layer, I would say, of your raw creative energy showing itself, where you can think of something outside the box. It shows how strong your raw creative energy is. If you can't think outside the box or predict something new or yes and improvise the situation, then your sexual energies are low, your creative energies are low, and we want you to reinvigorate those. So you're going to have to go through that process and force yourself to do that healing. And there's plenty of YouTube channel or videos and skills and tools and frequencies and songs and clothes and colors and creams and places in the world, even the chakras of the earth. You can go to the sacral chakra of the earth. I'm pretty sure potentially is the womb of the earth is Lake Titicaca in Peru, because it is like a womb. Like there is a story of like beings coming out of there and stuff. And anywhere that has like fertility energy, go there and soak it up and absorb it and love it if you need that replenishment too. It's all over the place. The earth is literally oozing with it. So just embrace her. Prepare yourself. And the best way to put your next foot forward is doing it for the sake of the children and protecting their right to sexually mature and for their raw creative energies to thrive with the 7 virtues, of course. So that is all for today's workshop. Thank you all so much for joining me. I've thanked you probably about a bunch of times now, but I really am grateful. If you need me, I'm mostly hanging out on Instagram, but we have a Telegram chat room also, t.me/Ascension Diaries chat, all one word is how you can quickly find that. Go to ascensiondiaries.com, and I have a link to all of my links and all my profiles and socials too, but just go to whatever social you like, look up Ascension Diaries. I'm probably there, and DM me or whatever. Just treat me like a normal human being, please, and contact me when it seems like appropriate or normal human interaction. I do not want to be put on any sort of creator pedestal or like you can't reach out to me because I have some type of YouTube channel or popularity. That's all a lie. Like, so just be a human, be a homie, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you, or if you want to bounce off any ideas with me, because I've had a brand and done a company and made mistakes and fought for this brand for years. Like there's other creatives who are super divine and spiritual who turned to me and were like, "What are you doing to my brand?" And I'm like, "Excuse you. I didn't make any comments on your brand. I could, but I don't. And I don't even bother thinking about how you should be improving your brand. I'm busy working on mine and my expression of my blueprints. So my blueprint has nothing to do with you. You do your blueprint, and trust me, I'm going to be nicer to you about it also, it looks like. So you do you. I respect you and your space so mine can be respected. And if that's the case, you're going to have to deal with that. Then just know it might happen. You might get resistance, and you just have to like literally not care. You have to not care what other people think about you and your brand. Again, if it's virtuous, you've got no problems. Some people actually will have a problem if your brand doesn't commit any sins. They will get triggered because their brand does. And they'll be in denial of it. Ooh, no, I'm being perfect. I'm perfectly aligned. And it's like, then why are you so busy criticizing other people? You have a little bit too much time on your hands, maybe. Keep working on that brand of yours. It's actually not good enough. Seems like, yeah. Anyways, don't be sassy like me. I am sassy, but only in response. I'm never originally sassy to people. Usually it's a response. And I tend to keep it to myself because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And I know I'm very capable of doing that with the things I say. So if I don't have anything nice to say, I don't create that because I don't want someone to be a jerk to me. So I avoid it as much as possible by not putting it out there in the universe. So do that with your brands. Only focus on your brand, your art. Just like artists in the museum, like every single artist has their own style, and now they're all dead and no one's like, ew, that art wasn't good enough. Now it's like, oh my God, that piece of art is worth $12 billion. Like just because it's the only remaining thing of history from this timeline, it's the things you create could be super amazing 200 years from now because it'll be the only thing of its kind left or whatever. Like there's so many potentials with your guys' creations. Just do them wherever they land and wherever they're meant to be. Trust that God has a plan, and respect other people's brands and products unless they are unvirtuous. Then of course, hmm, maybe think about it. At least stay away from them. Don't encourage them. Don't enable them anymore. Don't be an enabler anymore, you guys. That's false support. That's false love, enabling. It's false love. Real love is not enabling. Real love is not enabling somebody to do something that's hurtful to them or others. Okay, excellent. Love, 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 love you. Our golden armor of God is full and replenished and ready for this new game that's about to lay out before us all. So have the best time the rest of this January. Fortify your sexual energies, your raw inner child creative force, and prepare because you're about to create something, I assume, to make this world a better place. And that's why you're here right now. That's why we're here. You needed this just to be like, go. You're like a boulder at the top of a hill. I just have to push you a little bit and your momentum will carry you the rest of the way forever. Just a little push. Like, I believe in you. Are you being virtuous? Is this your divine blueprint? Excellent. I believe in you. You go ahead. I'm here for you. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful night. I'll talk to you very soon.